Today on the Dugs, we wrap up the group stage for Group A and expound on pitchers throwing at their grandmothers and children, as well as what happens when you give a rich person of below average intelligence the reins to start their own baseball league. Time to kill off another fictional family member so you can call off of work. The Dugs have uploaded a new video. Welcome back to the Dugs. Everything we do here is an excuse to tell a lot of baseball stories and a lot of jokes, so if that sounds interesting to you, stay in the know and help us grow with the shiny, free-of-charge subscription to the channel. It is the final game of the group stage for Group A, and here is our situation. The 6 out of 5s can pass the Crawfords in the standings if they win by at least 4 here, and if that happens, they're most likely in the playoffs, barring a massive showing from the 1981 Reds. All kinds of weird stuff starts happening if the Crawfords blow out the 6s in this game, but let's worry about that later if we have to. So the 6s have their fate in their own hands, but if they want to fondle their way to success, they're going to need to take down Satchel Paige. All he did in his first start was go 8 innings and strike out 13 en route to his shutout. And if that wasn't enough, he also recorded a hit and scored one of the 2 runs in the game. But Gaylord Perry is no slouch. Here he is opening the game with a strikeout of Cool Papa Bell. Rap Dixon, who also has had an excellent tourney, also goes down swinging, and he completes the 1-2-3 with an Oscar Charleston flyout, so it's a clean first, but it's not a clean second. This is Pat Patterson with a 1-out single, and then he just goes ahead and steals second, and now Bill Perkins is at the plate and he draws first blood with a single. 1-0 Crawfords, and good luck trying to hit Satchel Paige as he appears to be picking up right where he left off. Trying whatever they can to score, Gaylord gets a bunt down to put a man at second with 1 out, but then Satchel Paige strikes out Alfonso Soriano, and for good measure, Ken Caminiti goes down as well. In the bottom of the 5th, it's more Satchel. Alex Gordon strikes out swinging. Phil Rizzuto strikes out swinging. Jason Varitek strikes out swinging. What more can we say about Satchel Paige? Well, we're the Dugs and we like talking. There's a great legend that occurred when he was playing for a semi-pro team called the Down the Bay Boys. So he's on the mound, up 1-0 in the 9th with 2 outs, and the outfield makes 3 straight errors in the outfield to load the bases. The fans start booing, as one does when a buttoned-up, completely professional team like the Down the Bay Boys forgets what sport they're playing. Well, this pisses off Satchel, so he tells the outfield to abandon their posts and come sit down in the infield. This pisses off the fans and his team alike, but he goes ahead and strikes out the last man of the game like a boss. Back into it. It's the bottom of the 6th, and the 6 out of 5s are going to need to get something going soon if they want to get that 4-run win. But because I'm the master of shooting myself in the foot before sticking it in my mouth, I've built up Satchel only to see him give up his first run of the tourney when Alfonso Soriano takes him deep for a home run. We are tied at 1. Both pitchers have been outstanding. It's still 1-1 here in the top of the 8th, but Gaylord Perry has come out, and Jack Morris has come in. He's just as good. Rap Dixon says, hey, that was a nice pitch. Oscar Charleston at least tries to take a cut at the thing. Josh Gibson, offensive legend, also goes down swinging. In the 9th, we're still tied at 1 and things get tense. Pat Patterson leads the inning off with a double, and that is a world of trouble. Bill Perkins is up next to try to take advantage, and that is deep to right. Even if it doesn't land for a hit, surely that'll advance the man to third, but no! That is Alex Gordon in right field. Patterson tries to advance to third on a fly out to right, but Alex Gordon makes up for his .220 average in 2016 and his .208 average in 2017, while making a grand total of $38 million across the 2 years by throwing out Perkins in this simulated game of baseball on YouTube. Nothing happens in the bottom of the inning, so we are off to extras, which means the only way that the 6s can punch their ticket to the playoffs is with a walk-off grand slam. Early Wynn comes in to pitch for the 6s. Early has got me so confused. He's known for many a conflicting thing. In his retirement, he operated a bowling alley that was also a steakhouse. He was either way ahead of his time and classed bowling way up, or every steak served came with a bottle of ketchup. He was known for throwing at hitters, and I'll just let him speak for himself here. Wynn once claimed that I'd knock down my own grandmother if she dug in on me. When asked to elaborate, he justified his decision by saying that mother was a pretty good curveball hitter. And that's worth a chuckle because you think, well, maybe he's just got a sense of humor. He doesn't actually mean the things he's saying. But then he went ahead and buzzed his 15-year-old son's tower during batting practice. He was having a nice father-son moment, pitching to him before a game when his son drove a few solidly deep into the outfield. The onlooker started to applaud a bit. Well, we can't have that. You've got to teach a kid their place, so the very next pitch finds the kid on his butt freaked out by a knockdown pitch. So obviously, he was a bit of a firecracker, as one of his highlights was him throwing a ball at his own coach when the coach was on his way to the mound to take him out of the game. So good luck, Crawfords. I'm gonna call this one from under my desk. Chester Williams comes in with a 1-out pinch hit single, so the Crawfords are in business. They don't want to mess with cool Papa Bell, so he walks. Though that brings up Rap Dixon, and Rap has an average of .423 this tourney, along with a homer and 8 RBIs. That is a single, scoring Chester Williams, and Rap advances on a throwing error. That error is big because Oscar Charleston also singles, scoring a 3rd run. Hail Mary time! I mean, this is beyond Hail Mary. This is draw a chalk circle and try to summon Cthulhu territory. Bottom of the 10th, and the Sixes are going to need to tie it here, and then hope for a walk-off grand slam in a future inning. Jason Varitek gets things going with a leadoff double. Look out, while Omar Vizquel strikes out, followed by a Soriano flyout, and the Sixes are down to their final out in Ken Caminiti. Say it with me! Overrated! Clap, 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 clap. The 6 out of 5s fail to reverse their public perception and are eliminated from the tournament, while the Crawfords have secured their bid to the next round. Both pitchers were excellent today, each only surrendering a single run, while collectively striking out 14. Oscar Charleston and Rap Dixon came up huge in the 10th inning to score the win for the Crawfords, but that's been no surprise. They've been huge all tourney long, accounting for 16 of the team's RBIs in the group stage. So let's turn to the back half to cement the group results. The Diamonds in the Rough are visiting the 1981 Reds in the back half, and the Reds have the opportunity of equaling the Diamonds' record in the standings, but will need a 15-run win to hurdle them in the run differential category and jump into the playoffs. Crazier things have happened, but not many. The most relevant thing to keep our eyes on here is the story of home field advantage. The Crawfords have won their game, and so the Diamonds have to do the same here to secure the top spot in the group and home field in the first round of the playoffs. A loss will find them packing their bags and going on the road. In the first video of the season, we talked a little bit about Bruce Berenyi's team tendency to absolutely berend him over with an utter lack of run support. True to form, he went 7 1/3, struck out 11, gave up only 1 earned run, and naturally took the L. But we'll jump into the bottom of the first, and what is this? George Foster hits a 1-out double with runners on first and second, and the Reds are on the board first. Following Foster, it's Dan Dreesen, and he goes for a double as well. Both runners score, and Bruce would like to buy a vowel because he has no idea what to do with the offense behind him. The Reds are on pace for 81 runs tonight, which might just let them squeak into the playoffs. Joe Mauer isn't taking this one lying down. He quite likes playing his home games in Anaheim after the lackluster Aprils in Minnesota and would like to get that home field advantage. This is a double, and Harmon Killebrew comes all the way around from first to score and reel the lead back into 2. But Berenyi settles down. That 1 run is all he's surrendered thus far, and in the top of the 4th, he makes the heart of the Diamonds order look like the spleen? The spleen's the useless one, right? Lajoie flies out on the second pitch of his at-bat. Mike Trout strikes out swinging, and Harmon Killebrew does as well. And Berenyi must have sprung for the expensive Dr. Scholl's this game, because here comes more run support. Ray Knight obliterates this baseball, and that makes it 5-1. The Diamonds get a run back, but this 2-run home run by George Foster likely puts this one out of reach. Foster's having a huge game, as that's his 3rd RBI of the day as he opened the scoring in the first. Foster was one of the players that joined the Senior Professional Baseball League upon his retirement. Never heard of it? Well, that's not surprising, as it was wildly unpopular. The Senior League was the brainchild of a rich real estate developer named Jim Morley. He was on the market for the next big idea and flew to Australia to try to think one up. It's slightly different than my approach of parking it in the bathroom for a deep think. Anyhow, on this trip, his girlfriend suggested some answers, among them a bead store or balloon delivery service. His response? Great ideas, sweetie, and he probably patted her on their shoulder here, but I'm gonna go ahead and start a baseball league. There was a senior PGA Tour event going on in Brisbane at the time, and despite the super cute idea of a bead store, he found his inspiration in this golf event and started up a senior league, though for the sake of my own sanity, I have to state that the definition of the senior here was pretty loose. If you were a catcher, you had to be 32 or over, while the cutoff for all other positions was 35. The league attracted a mishmash of older players looking to rekindle an old love and younger players seeking to prove that they still had something to provide at a major league level. There were 3 players who actually did manage to score major league playing time after their time in the senior league. It's not like they had the option of a long stay. It folded after its second second year. Morley was shocked that his brainchild didn't take off. By his calculations, if they were able to average at least 2,000 fans a game, they should be able to break even, and anything above that would be gravy. Well, two issues with that. The first was that they only managed an average of 1,500 fans, and the second was that Jim Morley sucked at math. The 2,000 per game may have barely covered the costs of the players' contracts, but not a lot else. Our man Morley wasn't much of a planner. The whole idea behind the league was that they would be able to utilize the spring training stadiums in Florida when they weren't being used by the major leagues. The weather would be fine for baseball, and the players would have an abundance of post-game bingo halls to choose from. Well, I don't know if somebody just didn't look at the calendar or something, but the major league squads returning to those stadiums for spring training overlapped with the end of the regular season, and nearly every team's home stadium would not be available, which forced neutral sites for the playoffs. All right, let's get back into the game. Not much more to show here, but the Reds are able to finish off their upset of the Diamonds in the Rough with a strike him out of Joe Mauer and a throw him out of Mike Trout. And so, despite some of their dominant wins during the group stage, the Diamonds in the Rough are going to be diamonds on the road in the first rounds of the playoffs. The Reds manage a not last, sticking the 6 out of 5s with that dishonor. Bruce Berenier finally got the run support he deserved as he went out and dominated again, going 7 innings and only allowing 2 hits. And George Foster provided enough offense on his own, hitting his 3rd home run of the tourney and providing 3 RBIs. Joe Mauer had a nice game, allowing him to wrap up a solid group stage, batting .368 overall, homering twice, and accounting for 6 RBIs. Tomorrow on the Dugs, it's the final day of the group stage as we turn to Group B. Club Snub will be the Diamond in the Rough's semifinal opponent, and they look to go undefeated as they go to the Crawfords' first-round opponent in the Two Soons. It'll be Tony Mullane going for the Snubs and Smokey Joe Wood for the Two Soons. Our other matchup is mostly for pride, or at least that's what they're going to be telling themselves, as the single-win Black Sox visit the single-win Expos in the battle for 3rd place. Eddie Seacott gets the start for the Black Sox, while we'll get to see Pedro Martinez for his 2nd time for the Expos. Drop a prediction in the comments about who you think will win and by how much, as we're hoping to tally everyone's predictions en route to a prize we haven't decided on yet. As always, if you enjoy what we're doing, subscriptions to the channel, feedback in the comments, and liking these videos are the quickest way to make the Dugs a thing. Next up on the Dugs Sports Network, it's a fundraiser so we can pay our rent this month. We're going to flick Jacob deGrom's elbow with our fingers over and over again until $10,000 is pledged to our cause. Balls in your court, Rangers fans. That does it for me. As always, I've been Johnny Paprika, hoping all of your balls are fair and all of your wood is good. Good night, everybody.